over correct form for plank as well as a few different variations in case you get bored and you want to switch things up. So first things first, we're going to start with our form for a forearm plank, which you can do from either your knees or from your toes. So if you go from your knees, you're right here. Your knees are going to be about hip width apart. You're going to keep your core braced. And so what I mean by bracing your core is not bringing your belly button in toward your spine. You want to think more as if you were to get hit in the stomach and you didn't want it to hurt. You're going to brace the whole core, so not just the abs, everything all the way around gets nice and tight, but remembering to breathe the whole time. So again, for our forearm plank, we're going to be on our elbows. Our elbows are going to be right underneath our shoulders, and our hands are going to be spread out like this. We're not going to make a fist because that puts a lot of tension into our neck and trap area. And so we're just going to be right here, making sure our hips are in a nice straight line with the rest of our body. We're not letting them dip down toward the floor or come up toward the ceiling. If you're going from your knees, just right here. If you're going from your toes, simply come up onto your toes, same idea. With this, the closer your feet are together, the harder it's going to be. The further apart they are, the more your weight is spread out, so it makes it a little bit easier. So that's your basic plank from your forearm. And now we're going to go over the basic plank from an extended arm. So same idea with your whole body, but you're going to keep your hands right underneath your shoulders rather than being on your forearms. You're right here. You're never locking your elbows out, so keep a very slight bend in them the whole time. Again, bracing your core and really focusing on your breathing and making sure that your hips are in a nice straight line with the rest of your body. And so that one can also be done from your knees or from your toes. Now that kind of covers our basic core form, but we're going to go through a few variations now. So these variations can be done from your knees. So you're going to be right here for a shoulder tap. This one you're up on your hands. It's not really something you can do from your forearms. So you're right here and you're just tapping on one side and tapping on the other, back and forth. I'm going to turn so you can see from the front as well. You're right here, tap and tap. And what you really want to focus on here is making sure that your hips aren't tipping from side to side. And so that gets a little more difficult when we're doing it from our toes. But if you take a nice wide base with your feet, it'll help with that a little bit. Imagine that there's a cup of water on your back and you don't want it to spill. So everything stays nice and level. We're not coming here and turning side to side at all. Everything stays level to the floor. So that's your plank with a shoulder tap. Again, that one can only be done from the extended arm plank, but it can be done from your knees or your toes. Next, we've got our plank up downs. So this one, again, can be done from your knees as well as your toes. And you're gonna start in this low position right here. And all you're gonna do is push up with one hand, we call that our lead hand, follow with the other, and then you're up into that extended arm plank, and you're gonna go ahead and come back down to that forearm plank by starting with that same side that you pushed up with, and then following with the other. Up, up, down, down. Do a few on one side and then a few on the other, so that both arms get the same amount of work. And make sure that you're really doing your best to keep everything nice and level to the floor there as well. Now that's also one that can be done from your toes. But again, you want a nice wide base with your feet here so that you don't tip side to side at all. Up, up, down, down. And then lastly, we have our plank jacks. This one you cannot do from your forearms, but you can do from an extended arm. And there's a couple variations here. So the first one is a lower intensity option where you're right here, you're up on your toes. You can't really do these from your knees either. And you're just gonna come out to the side, tap, and you're gonna switch legs each time. So from the front, you're right here, out and tap, switching sides. If you want a little more intense of an option, you can add a little hop into it. So you're right here, hop out, hop in. Again, making sure that your core is braced the whole time and that your hips aren't coming up or sinking down. From the front, we're right here, out and back in. And that's it. I hope you have fun. Switch things up and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much.